Yo, what's up guys? We're farming dragons. And why are we farming dragons? Well, we have that thing where if you do dragons, you only get fire runes. And that's for me the only reason why I'm actually farming dragons, because I don't really want any of the other dungeon things that I can get here dropped. So I'm mainly just in giants or R5, sometimes artifacts, but not really doing too much dragons. So I switched back my team to dragons to farm this for that event thing, and then I noticed, wait a minute, I normally don't use Deborah for this team, and they started popping up like next best run, next best run, next best run, next best run. I was like, wait a minute, I normally don't use this. And then at some point it also started failing a little bit. I was like, wait, no. Normally I did this with the Kyle instead. So then I started tweaking a little bit more. Well, actually first I went for a try on the Sabrina team, because the Sabrina team, I showcased that one before in a previous video as well, is a little bit better because Shaina in this team has like a 2.25% chance to miss an armor break on the final boss, no matter what, just by simple double 15% checking. But Martina's a little bit better on that. So then I was like, oh, I just switched to Martina, let's see how that works. It was still not really working, and then I started upping the artifacts of the Luna. And after artifact upping of the Luna, I was like, wait, how about I just try it right now to see if this team actually works right now. And we still walk into some issues, and that issue is pretty much that there is still a chance where he doesn't do his skill, because we're still not doing enough damage. And that's why I would say that this team is also somewhat overrated for people with lower rune quality, saying like, oh, if I get a Liam, I can easily make this like 25-second Dragons team. No, it's not that easy. With a Kyle, of course, it's a lot easier than this, because that Kyle can dish out quite some damage as well, and then you would lower the attack or the HP bar of the boss, and then it becomes a little bit easier. But a lot of people expect like the moment that the boss is at 50% at the HP bar, then Liam will always do S3. That's not the case. Liam at this position does the S3 about like 60-70% of the time. Maybe a little bit more, but he tends to not do it all the time. I do have a thing in mind which I will test after this. That's mainly like after the 70 minutes I will test that, and I think that might be actually an option that people might want to use. Like, this is working for me right now. I will be farming this for the 3 hours that I do. I will be showcasing the runes on this. This is more of a rune showcase than like, oh, this is a guide, like you guys can rune this up. There's probably people that can rune them up. Absolutely. There's definitely a whole bunch of people with really sick runes out there, but I would also kind of classify this as pretty hard to rune, because I struggle runing this, and I would say it's the moment you have very good runes, it's still an artifact matter that you have to have pretty good artifacts as well. And Luna has pretty decent artifacts, which I was upgrading like back and forth with like just getting a whole bunch of those convert enchants kind of things in. But in the end, we did manage to get like a full-on sub 20-second run, which you also probably saw on the thumbnail. Yes, it is possible. Do you need a little bit of RNG for that, for the Liam to always use the third skill? I guess so, because he's not a perfect AI state, no. Why can't Liam not be like perfect AI on 50% attack bar? Maybe it would be too OP, I don't know. I also guess that the Liam skin that I'm using is currently fastest. I would say the skin for Shaina that I'm currently using is fastest. The skin that I use for Julie is fastest. The skin for Luna base skin is fastest. The skin fastest for Deborah, I don't know, but Deborah doesn't really move. That's the best part about it. I did try to add some more damage to Deborah. You actually do see it if Liam goes for the S2. He does do a decent amount of damage because he's enemy max HPing. He never actually did an S1 on me ever. He just sometimes did the S2, but he never did an S1. So he does have like some decent AI on that, I guess. I don't know exactly. But it would be nice if then the Deborah plus a Julie would do enough damage where you would actually clap the boss. Or maybe I would just have to make the Shaina a little bit faster. But the runes on these, which I'll showcase in a second, they're not really easy to obtain, because the Shaina, for a lot of people, is going to be a damage dealer as well. In my case, the Shaina is actually a triple fight unit. My Liam is triple fight, that's pretty normal. Deborah's triple fight, that's pretty normal. Luna's on the highest damage set, and Julie is on a high speed damage set. But I'll showcase this in a second. But I just like this team when it works, man. This team is just so zooming. This is probably the fastest dungeon team you can get out there without having an LE5. Well, PC you can run in under 20 seconds. That part is true. PC is definitely runnable in under 20 seconds, even 20-second average. I guess that's the fastest dungeon, but hitting dragons run under 20 seconds with Liam and just a Deborah, well, just a Deborah, not everyone has Deborah, that's true. Wouldn't mind if they give HOH Deborah, but don't think they actually will. She's still pretty decent, but she's not that OP. She's kind of nerfed in PvE. If she didn't have the nerf in PvE, I guess that this team would have been working for sure. You're pretty sure. So yeah, it's pretty OP, but let me show you the runes. So we're at the end of the run. We ended with a derp. That's too bad. It's always sad. But let's see how much we did. I'm not sure if there were any fails. I don't think there were any fails in this case. We did have a bunch of derps, but not a single fail, so that's always positive. Let's see what the average of 20 was. 23 seconds. Well, actually, noticing that on my phone, it's running 19 seconds, and on my PC on Steam client, it's actually running a few seconds slower. So actually farming on my phone is pretty much substantially faster than on Steam client. Because on Steam client, or on my phone, I'm getting legit like 1 whole second faster than this time, which is kind of interesting. So then to look at the runes, we got a triple fight over here at China. That's a version with actually a crit rate 4. But a crit rate 4 that has a lot of crit damage in other places. So still quite some damage. It is speed slot 2. And then attack. And then we have additional damage by attack and speed. That's the main thing to hit harder on those crystals. And then this one, the accuracy S3, because I don't really have max accuracy. But with the accuracy S3 plus the passive, we're hitting that 65. So that is what we need. And the minimum speed that we need is plus 86. Then we have the Julie. Minimum speed is plus 120, is exactly that. And in this case, it is Swift Blade with just a lot of attack, crit damage. And then you want attack or additional damage by attacks, HP, speed, mainly just additional damage by attack, in this case as well. And then you just do enough damage on those crystals. That's the main thing to it. Deborah is just a triple fight. I don't have max crit rate on it, but she pretty much doesn't get to move. And putting a lot more damage to her doesn't really help that much. And then we have the Liam, which is also a triple fight, 85 crit rate. Needs to be at least, I think, plus 52. And then rest is just damage, also damage of fire, and then crit damage less. And then the Luna, which is the most difficult to rune, it's a Rage Blade. It's at 280 crit damage, plus 2100 attack. But we're not done there yet. We also have plus 19 on fire, 3 over here and another 7 over there. Then on the other side, we have a 9 over there, an 11 over there, and a 17 over there. Too bad that this thing rolled over here. If that rolled in one of those two things, then man, this artifact would have been so god tier. But it's still pretty god tier to have like straight up 28 from those two, plus another 9 over here. So that's a lot and a lot of crit damage added. Would have been perfect if that roll won't been here and then crit damage on over there. Then this thing would have been absolutely perfect. But yeah, it's still pretty high maxed out hero, I would say. So yeah, you need this kind of Luna, and I would definitely say that the artifact, I had a worse artifact on this before, and putting in that artifact made it that it was actually possible to get this kind of damage in. And yeah, that's just kind of what's needed. If you happen to have like a damage on fire that's like a quad roll and then a very high one, then maybe you can make it. Otherwise, probably will get a little difficult. But now let's test the one that I think might be better. I haven't tested it yet, but I think it might be better, or at least not necessarily better, but easier to rune. And that would be a Patrick. Patrick also has extra damage up for enemy lost HP. So if he's at 50% HP or the boss is at 50% HP, maybe Patrick would do enough. And his animations are pretty fast. So might be something that actually is useful enough. We of course have damage on fire and then crit damage is up. We don't have too much crit damage in this because we didn't go for a rage set. If you want to properly rune this, I probably recommend going for some damage set over here, going for some damage set over here, and then just a triple fight over here. But since I made my Shina and Julie that they one-shot the waves with the other unit being a triple fight as well, I kind of want to go for triple fight. So let's see what this does, and let's see if this is actually good enough or maybe not great at all. So let's see how much damage that Patrick would do on the final boss, and if that would push into perfect AI range of that Liam. That's going to be the main question. So we still do about a half HP. That is not bad at all, actually. I'm not 100% sure if that's 100% into perfect AI range. There is also going to be a big difference if he's going to do an S1 or an S2. It's definitely not the AI range where he will always do an S2, which is kind of sad as well, I would say. But doesn't seem too bad so far. Of course, like you can put the Kyle in there or like a Seek or something like that, but I kind of wanted to try something else, right? Let's see if that is actually better or not. I would say the easiest one to rune is most likely that Kyle, or I'm pretty sure is going to be that Kyle, but Patrick does a good amount of damage as well. Plus, if you make Patrick survive, Patrick would definitely clean up the final piece of the boss as well. So it could be a failsafe in there as well, where you could say like, hey, Patrick will definitely clean up. You could actually make it that Patrick would become even a better cleanup if you put double will on the Patrick. If you put double will on the Patrick, he will never get a debuff. And because of never getting a debuff, the boss would never do extra damage on him. So he always gets a turn, even if he did get a spray on his ass. So that is something that you could be looking for. Well, so far so good. So this is definitely, it is around the same time as I did like the average for the run that just finished. I would say on my phone, this would definitely run like about a half a second or to a second faster. So definitely after this video, we'll be going back to farming on the phone. Good to check out that part as well. But yeah, this seems to be working pretty well. But I kind of want to see a run where the Patrick goes for an S1 rather than an S2. Because that is the part where it could go a little bit wrong. However, Patrick is a pretty nice unit for a lot of dungeons. I feel like that if I want to run some SF kind of dungeon, I should be looking at Patrick as well to see if that maybe works in SF. I think he would probably work in SF as well. He's the right element for SF, that definitely does help out. But Patrick is a pretty nice unit for just adding in quite some damage from his ignore defense that he has just in a passive. Sure, the boss already needs to be somewhat lowered on HP, so Brandia probably would do better if it just straight up one-shots, but yeah, I can't have everything in life if you don't happen to have the Brandia, but do happen to have the Patrick. Also, Patrick AI to do the S2, like, it could be me, but has he done any S1? Oh, that's the first S1 he did. Okay, first S1 he did, and that's also straight up a fail from the Liam as well. Well, if the Liam doesn't get dotted, then it's always fine. But in this case, I think the whole team is just fine. Let's see how much damage the Patrick does on this. So I think Patrick would just kill that last piece. We didn't even need a Liam over there. So would that also maybe be a case where you could say, if you go for the Kyle and you go for a Kyle double hitting, do you actually need a Liam, or can a Patrick just clean up as well? Because that's actually a pretty interesting fact as well. Never tried it. I'm not sure if I have the option to try it right now. Yeah, I can actually try that out as well, because I can just simply throw the runes of Liam to a Kyle. And I'm not sure. I think the Liam would be a little bit too slow. Yeah, I would have to tweak that a little bit. I'm currently not running on the thing where I have to run as fast as possible, because in that case I will go back to the Debra. But just for showcasing purposes, I will actually try to see if we can actually run this without a Liam and then just put a Patrick and a Kyle. That was a 25-second average, so that's definitely not bad. Okay, so by all means, I don't really have an optimal set for Kyle in the first place at the moment, so I just clicked in a few things, so it's definitely not really a great set. So for that reason, it might be a little bit more obtainable as well. I don't know. Like, normally I would go damage set on the Kyle anyways. I wouldn't really go triple fight, so Luna's doing a lot more damage than Shoot right now, but the Kyle's doing a lot less damage than Shoot. So for that reason, it's maybe a little bit obtainable. Let's see how much damage we would do. I definitely do think that Kyle would have to be on a damage set normally to put this towards proper AI range. Yeah, that's definitely not enough. That is absolutely not enough. I would say that if you put more damage sets to it rather than just triple fights, you might get there. It's definitely something if you have good runes, but you don't happen to have a Liam. Something that you can test around with. Definitely in my case, not something I will be using, but it's something that you could have a try with. So I was setting back my team and I was remembering something that, hey, that might be actually work to make this a bit safer as well. And that is, why not make the Debra move in front of the Liam? So in the end, the Luna will only take one turn at that stage. We will have a slow move of a Debra over here, but it's just that slightly bit of chip damage extra that might actually make it to the Liam getting better in range for doing S3. It will cost you about half a second, but that half a second is probably worth it for the Liam to put extra damage in as well. So if you happen to have good fight sets, just a good fight set on that Debra, making her a little bit faster, adding in a little bit of damage as well. It's not going to be much damage, but a little bit of damage might help that Liam to push towards perfect AI range. So it is something that could work a little bit as well. So I'd probably be running it this way because we have that little bit of chip damage, like just that 13 extra K, it's definitely not bad. It is costing me like about half a second though, so. But it's not too bad. At least we have the Luna just moving in one go on the other, on the mid boss. But it's not going to be the fastest run for sure because it's faster if the Dabra does. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. More of a showcase and maybe something that you could try out rather than something like, oh, this is how you should rune it. But guys, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you as always in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more guides, join the Discord and check out the content tab, which has the dungeon guide archive and the video guide archive, which contains all of the guides that you need. Hope to see you there.